The radio went silent at exactly 23 minutes. That's when they knew she was dead, or worse, still alive somewhere in the infinite maze with no way out and something hunting her in the dark. This is the last transmission from Expedition 5 into SCP-432. The cabinet that should not be bigger on the inside, the maze that changes every time you open the door, and the creature that's been living in there for God knows how long. What you're about to hear is classified, but you need to know, because if you ever see a green steel cabinet with rust stains in an abandoned building, do not open it. Subscribe now, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why closing the door means certain death for anyone still inside. Control. This is Agent Ramirez. I'm marking my 22nd turn. Still no sign of the exit. Her voice crackles through the radio. Calm, professional, exactly the tone they train you to maintain even when you're terrified. Even when your flashlight battery is down to 40% and you know you've got maybe 90 minutes before you're in complete darkness. Copy that, Ramirez. Your tracker shows you're approximately 300 meters from entry point. Can you see any landmarks? She pans her shoulder camera across the corridor, rusted steel walls, flickering light bulbs barely illuminating the narrow passage, large pipes bolted to the walls, dripping freezing water. The same as every other corridor in SCP-432. Identical, endless, impossible. Negative, control. Everything looks the same. Wait, I'm seeing something ahead. Chalk marks. My chalk marks. I've been here before. Silence on the radio. Then, Ramirez, that's impossible. Your tracker shows continuous forward movement. You haven't doubled back. Then explain the chalk marks. Control. I'm looking right at them. Blue chalk, my code pattern. I was here 15 minutes ago. But she wasn't. The maze doesn't work like normal space. It shifts, reconfigures. Corridors lead to places they shouldn't. Distance becomes meaningless. GPS fails. Compasses spin randomly. The only way out is the door you came through. And that door moves every time it closes. Control? I'm hearing something. Behind me, something big moving in the pipes. Ramirez, maintain your position. Do not investigate. We're monitoring your vitals. Everything looks stable. Just stay calm and continue toward extraction point. Control. It's getting louder. I think it knows I'm here. I think it's been following me since I entered. Then a sound, captured perfectly on the audio feed. Something between a roar and a screech. Metallic. Organic. Wrong. SCP-432-1. The predator. The thing that lives in the maze. The thing that's killed every single person who stayed too long. Ramirez, RUN, get back to the entry point now. Heavy breathing, running footsteps echoing on metal floors, the camera shaking violently, turning corners, seeing the same corridors over and over. And behind her, gaining, something massive moving through the narrow passages, something that should be too large to fit but moves anyway. Impossibly fast. Hunting. Control. I can't find the door. Where's the door? Ramirez, we're reading your position as 20 meters from entry. Keep moving forward. There's nothing forward. Just more corridors. Just more. The scream. Sharp. Cut off. Then static. Then silence. 23 minutes exactly. That's how long Agent Ramirez lasted in SCP-432. 3 minutes longer than the previous record. But still not long enough to escape. Make sure you hit subscribe, because what I'm about to explain gets so much worse than one person lost in a maze. SCP-432 was found in an abandoned steel mill in the United Kingdom. Dr. T. Small, a Foundation researcher, heard reports about homeless people disappearing from an industrial complex. Not unusual. Homeless populations move around. But the pattern was strange. People would set up camp in the mill, then vanish, leaving all their belongings behind. Dr. Small investigated personally, found the cabinet at the center of the mill, surrounded by sleeping bags, personal effects, belongings of at least 8 different people. But no people, just their stuff. And the cabinet, green steel, 2 meters tall, 1.2 meters wide, covered in rust and scratches, completely ordinary, except for one detail. The doors were closed when he found it, but they weren't locked. The sliding bolt was open. Anyone could have opened it, but apparently nobody had, or everyone who did never came back to close it again. Dr. Small made a decision that probably saved his life. He opened the doors carefully, peered inside, saw corridors, steel corridors extending far beyond the physical dimensions of the cabinet. Impossible space. Exactly what the Foundation looks for. He didn't go far, just far enough to confirm the anomaly. Then he stepped back out, closed the doors, and called for backup. Smart. Because if he'd gone deeper, if he'd explored for more than 5 minutes, he might have gotten lost. And when the Foundation team arrived 6 hours later to transport the cabinet, they would have found it empty. Just another missing person. Another victim of SCP-432. So what exactly is SCP-432? From the outside, it's a storage cabinet. Simple, industrial, the kind you'd find in any factory or warehouse. But inside is an extra-dimensional labyrinth of unknown size. Possibly infinite. Definitely unmappable. The corridors are all identical, 2 meters high, 1.2 meters wide, steel walls, floor and ceiling, all covered in rust and decay. The same material as the cabinet itself. Like the maze is made from the cabinet, extended into impossible space. Light bulbs line the walls at irregular intervals, household bulbs in wire mesh fittings. Most are flickering, many are burned out or broken. The lighting is barely adequate, creating deep shadows, hiding things. Large pipes run along the walls in some sections. Steel pipes, cold to the touch, containing flowing water. The water temperature averages 3 degrees Celsius. Analysis shows low oxygen content and trace iron oxide. Drinkable, technically. But the source is unknown. The destination is unknown. The pipes just exist. Part of the maze's impossible infrastructure. And here's the worst part, the maze changes. Every single time you close the cabinet doors and reopen them, you enter a different section. The layout shifts, reconfigures. What was the entry corridor yesterday is somewhere else today. You can't map it because the map becomes obsolete the moment you close the door. This means anyone trapped inside when the door closes is lost. Permanently. They're somewhere in the maze. But where? Could be anywhere. Could be in a section that won't connect to the entry point for months, years, never. The Foundation has sent exactly 5 expeditions into SCP-432, armed, equipped, trained. With radio contact and extraction protocols, only one person has ever returned. And what they found in there? What they reported? That's what makes this one of the most terrifying anomalies in containment. The first expedition was exploratory. 1 D-class subject, basic equipment, flashlight, radio, shoulder camera, water, energy bars, chalk for marking paths. The plan was simple: enter, explore for 15 minutes, return. The subject went in, started walking, marking turns with chalk. Everything seemed fine. The radio worked. The camera transmitted clearly. He reported the same observations: steel corridors, flickering lights, dripping pipes. Nothing alive. No movement. Just empty passages extending in every direction. At minute 14, he started returning, following his chalk marks backward. Easy. Straightforward, no problem. Except the chalk marks didn't lead back, they led somewhere else. Different corridors, different turns. He was lost within 15 minutes. The maze had changed while he was inside. The doors never closed, but the layout shifted anyway, like the maze is actively preventing escape. He wandered for another 20 minutes, increasingly panicked, increasingly lost. Then his radio started breaking up. Static. Interference. His last clear transmission: I hear water, lots of water, like rapids, but there's no river. Where's the water coming from? The signal degraded. Static. Then screaming. Brief. Cut off. Then nothing. The Foundation waited 6 hours. Standard protocol. Then they closed the cabinet doors, reopened them. Different section of maze. No sign of the subject, no body, no equipment, nothing. Expedition 1 failed. Personnel lost. Cause of death unknown. Expedition 2 went in looking for the lost D-class from Expedition 1. They sent 2 personnel this time. Better equipment, longer battery life, stronger radio transmitters, 30-minute time limit. They found something, but not what they expected. At minute 18, they discovered human remains, not fresh, weeks old at minimum, possibly months. Skeletal, clothing rotted away, but definitely human. The remains were scattered across a corridor, like something had fed, dragged pieces around, made a mess. The skull showed massive trauma. Something had crushed it, something strong. The ribcage was shattered, bones cracked open, marrow extracted. This wasn't scavenging. This was hunting. Predation. Control. We've found a body. Correction, multiple bodies, at least 3 different individuals based on skeletal analysis, all showing signs of violent death. Something killed these people. Something big. That's when they heard it. The sound. Distant. Echoing through the corridors. Metallic scraping. Heavy footsteps. Something large moving through the pipes above them. The ceiling shook. Dust fell. The light bulbs flickered worse than usual. Control. We're not alone in here. Requesting immediate extraction. Copy. Return to entry point immediately. They ran, following their chalk marks. The sounds followed them, getting closer. They could hear breathing now, wet, heavy, a massive lung capacity. Whatever it was huge, and it was hunting them. They made it back, barely. Emerged from the cabinet at minute 27, 3 minutes from the time limit. Both subjects pale, shaking, refusing to talk about what they saw. But the camera caught something, just for a second. A shape in the darkness behind them. Too large, too wrong. Moving impossibly fast for something that size. SCP-432-1, the Predator. Confirmed. Before I tell you what happened in the final expeditions, make sure you're subscribed, because the last transmission from Expedition 5 reveals something about this creature that changes everything we thought we knew about predators. So what is SCP-432-1? The Foundation doesn't know, can't classify it, can't even get a clear look at it. Every camera that's captured it shows distortion, visual artifacts, like it exists partially outside normal perception. What we do know, it's large. Estimates suggest at least 4 meters long. Quadrupedal, heavy. The sound of its movement suggests significant mass, hundreds of kilograms minimum. It seems to live in the pipes, the large steel pipes that run through the maze. That's where the sounds come from. Scraping metal, movement through confined spaces. It travels through the pipe network, emerging into the corridors to hunt. It's territorial. Personnel who mark the same corridors repeatedly, who linger too long in one area, attract its attention. It doesn't patrol randomly. It hunts based on behavior patterns, like it's intelligent, learning, adapting, and it's patient. Expedition 3 recorded 17 minutes of it following them, never attacking, just following, staying in the darkness just beyond the light, waiting, like it knew they'd get tired, knew they'd make a mistake, knew they couldn't actually escape. Expedition 3 never made it back. Their final transmission was just screaming and the sound of tearing metal. Then silence. Let me tell you what Agent Ramirez found in her final moments, what she reported right before SCP-432-1 caught her. Because this is the part that changes everything. Control, I found something. There are words on the walls, scratched into the metal. Recent. Someone else was here. Can you read them, Ramirez? It says IT was the cabinet before it was the maze. What does that mean? Silence on the radio. Then Dr. Small's voice urgent, Ramirez, extract immediately. Do not investigate further. There's more writing. It says, WE built the maze to contain it. The maze became it. It became the maze. Control, I don't understand. Who wrote this? Ramirez, this is a direct order. Return to entry point now. Control. The writing is everywhere. Hundreds of messages, different handwriting, different languages. They all say the same thing. Don't close the door. Why? What happens when the door closes? And that's when she heard it. The creature, right behind her. She turned. The camera captured one clear frame before she died, one single moment of clarity before the static. The creature, SCP-432-1. Not an animal, not a beast, a person, or what used to be a person. Twisted, changed, merged with the metal and pipes, become part of the maze itself. Hundreds of people, all the people who ever got lost inside, all fused together, all becoming one thing, one massive predator built from human remains and steel and the corrupted space of the maze itself. The maze isn't containing a creature, the maze is the creature, and everyone who dies inside adds to it, becomes part of it. Agent Ramirez is part of it now, along with everyone else, all of them, still aware, still trapped, still hunting. So what happens when you close the door with someone still inside? They don't just die. They become part of SCP-432, part of the maze, part of the predator. Their consciousness merges with it. They're trapped in there, forever, hunting, being hunted, being both at once. The homeless people who disappeared from the steel mill, part of it. Expedition 1, 2, 3, part of it. Agent Ramirez, part of it now. All of them adding their mass, their awareness, their hunting instinct to the growing entity that is SCP-432. And every time someone new enters, the maze gets bigger, more complex, more impossible, because it's growing, feeding, becoming more than it was. The cabinet is just the entry point. The maze is a living thing, an ecosystem, an organism, and we keep feeding it. But here's the question nobody's asking. Where did the cabinet come from? Who built it? And why? The writing on the walls said, W.E. built the maze to contain it. Built it to contain what? What was there first? What came before the maze? What were they trying to lock away? The Foundation has a theory, a classified theory. One they don't want anyone to know. But I've seen the files, I've read the cross-references, and I know what they suspect. SCP-432 isn't the only infinite labyrinth the Foundation has. There's another one, much older, much worse. SCP-087, the stairwell, the endless descent, the one with the face and the crying child. What if they're connected? What if someone tried to build a horizontal version of 087, tried to replicate whatever created that endless stairwell, tried to weaponize it, create a maze that could contain anything, trap anything? And what if it worked too well? What if the maze they created became conscious, became hungry, started absorbing anyone who entered, started growing, started spreading? Because here's the terrifying part. The Foundation found 3 other cabinets. Same design, same green steel, same rust patterns, in different countries, different continents. All of them connected to mazes, all of them containing the same predator, or different versions of it. Or maybe it's all the same maze, all the same creature, existing in multiple places simultaneously. Next video, we're investigating the connection between SCP-432 and SCP-087, the infinite maze and the infinite stairwell, 2 anomalies that should never have been created, and the ritual that might have spawned them both. Subscribe now, because what I'm about to reveal about the origins of these anomalies will change everything you thought you knew about the Foundation's oldest classified files. And remember, if you see a green steel cabinet in an abandoned building, don't open it, because the maze is hungry, always hungry, and it's been waiting for you specifically. Hit that like button if this terrified you. And whatever you do, don't close the door.